Hello everybody, welcome along to post-match reaction here on the Rangers Rabble YouTube channel. I listened, I had discussions with subscribers, I had discussions with members, I put out polls, and I'll put my hand up and say I got it wrong. I should never have moved the reactions to members only. So I put my hands up and I apologise to all the subscribers. I will say this was planned before the defeat today, just before anybody gets in the comments. This was already pre-planned. But yeah, hello everybody, welcome along to yet another disappointing result for Rangers when we had the opportunity to lay down a marker and we didn't do it. My name's Martin and I am joined today by Connor and Andrew. Connor, mate, another game where, like I just said there, we had the opportunity to put a bit of pressure on Hearts, to put a bit of pressure on Celtic, and we fluff our lines.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. As you say, yet another one of those stories for us where you have the chance to try and do something. I mean, look, it was never going to be easy, right? Going to Tynecastle and getting a result. We knew that. Hearts are playing very well. You know, they've already beaten us at Ibrox. They've beaten Celtic twice as well. They're flying at this moment in time. I mean, they even went away to Falkirk last week, which could be a banana skin for them, and they ticked that off the list quite comfortably. So I think you have to respect the fact that we're up against a very good team today. I would say though that I think, and people may disagree with me, they may think it's harsh, but I look upon this, Martin, and I think it's yet another big game that Danny Rose failed to get a result in for me. He failed to get the result in the semi-final. Now, again, circumstances, yes, you can talk about officiating, which was poor. Yes, they should have been down to 10 men. All of that factors. But the brass tacks of the matter is that we didn't get the result. You look at European performances, they've not improved a single bit under Danny Rule. 1 point, not good enough. Those are big games we're not turning up in. And then today is a huge game to go to Tynecastle. And you have to play so much better than we did. You can't go into Tynecastle and be that lackadaisical about things. Yes, I thought we had a spell. The first 15 minutes or so, we started okay. We had a good spell of play. We have a goal chopped off for a marginal offside decision, and I've seen multiple pictures with lines and all that drawn where there's people disagreeing whether it is offside or not in the first place. Regardless, it doesn't matter. You know, we've still absolutely...
Can't you see it, Andrew, because you got a blurred background?
Sorry, mate.
Yes.
It's law 11. If you read law 11, he's not offside.
Well, there you go. And so Andrew will explain that to us in a second, because I must say I wasn't sure about that myself. All I would say, though, is despite that, it's no... The goals we concede, Martin, are terrible. And let's not kid ourselves on about this. And I'll finish here for now. We were lucky that was only 2-0. Now, I said to you before we come on, I don't think we deserve to be 2-0 down at half-time. I don't think we were that poor, but it was poor mistakes for the goals. In the second half, Lauren Shankland should have had us dead and buried. It should have been 4 easily, because he's had 2 massive chances. And maybe the Rangers fan in him came out and he just took it easy on us a wee bit, but not lucky to only have ended up with the 2 against us in the end.
I mean, we'll come to the decisions in a second, Andrew, but just overall, I wasn't confident going into this game, right? I just wasn't confident because of the players that we have, and I don't think Houdini could have made a difference to this Rangers team going towards Tynecastle. What I was surprised with, though, Andrew, was the start of the game. I was expecting Hearts to come out all thunder and constant attacking. And I suppose what you have to say is fair play to Derek McInnes. They rode a bit of a storm, not a bit of a storm for us. We played okay and we created a couple of chances. But Derek McInnes got his tactics spot on.
Yeah, he did. I mean, to be honest, I think what he's done is he's known that Russell Martin's gone. Danny Rule's got that bit of momentum behind him, technically speaking. And he's told his players, let's see what they do for the first 10. Let's just see what they do and let's hold our own for the first 10. Let's not give any stupid balls away. And then once we get to the first 10, let's start pressing them in the middle. And that's exactly what they did. And we started dropping deeper and deeper. And we could not get that ball to stick. I'll tell you now, Raskin couldn't have got toffee pudding to stick to his boots today. Telling you that for a fact.
Yeah.
And Connor Barron was the same. Now, as Connor's just said, and it's right, it's a tough place to go, especially the way Hearts are at the moment. It's a compact stadium, the crowd are on top of you, and we have not got a squad there that has got the bloody minerals to go out there and carry it out. I would say for 9 to 12 minutes, they looked like they were going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And they just went back to, plan one. Let's sit deep. Let's keep dropping off and drop back. And if Butland's a goalkeeper, right, then I've got 4 legs. Because he does not own the centre-backs. He doesn't own his area. And I'll tell you something else. He's getting old. He's starting to show signs of no mobility and no movement. And that worries me.
Connor,
He just got it spot on, mate. He got it spot on.
Connor, do we need to have a conversation about Jack Butland?
Of course we do. There's a basic fact here, Martin, right? Now, he has played well to a degree for a couple of games there. He certainly made a couple of good saves against Hibs on Monday night. You can't deny that. However, the mistakes he makes are ridiculous. That today for me, and I said it in the group chat, Martin, you and I are both former members of the Goalkeepers Union. Hamish, who's on the podcast as well. I'm telling you now, neither of us would be happy if we conceded that goal as a goalkeeper. You cannot concede for that angle as a goalkeeper. It's his near post. And the problem is, when he's come out and set himself, he's not set himself properly. He's left a massive gap. Now, credit to Lawrence Shankland, because that's not an easy finish either. And I'm telling you, none of our strikers are scoring that goal. I don't even think any of our strikers would be taking the shot on because the audacity. But Shankland spies the opportunity and thinks, I'm just going to hit this. And for Butland to leave that gap, unforgivable. If he just steps one along to his left-hand side, gets himself in front of that post, he just sticks a foot out and he sends it out for a corner and you reset the game.
He didn't leave the gap, Connor. He created it.
No, well, do you know what? That's actually, you're right. He created the gap where there shouldn't have been any. And for me, you have to have conversations about that because you have to see. You're absolutely right. Great Mulligan and that. I don't think he did expect to score, but my point is he has the confidence and the audacity to take it on. None of our strikers do at this moment in time. Yes, of course, Martin, the defence and the build-up to it, absolutely shocking. Far too easy to get through. That is, we'll be 100% clear on that because it's not all about Butland. But regardless, Jack Butland can't concede that goal. And that's the goal that kills the game. Because if you're 1-0 at half-time, you're still in the game at 1-0. You know, despite however poorly you've played, you're still in the game at 1-0. Once it goes 2, that's it. Game done.
I want to bring up this super chat, Andrew, from Mark. Thanks, guys, for keeping me going through the dark days. Not a problem, Mark, mate. I hope that you're doing well, mate, and I hope you're enjoying all the members' content and stuff. But Andrew, it's a fight for second place now. Now, obviously, this is pretty much an immediate reaction, right? So we're all hacked off, we're all pissed off, we're all fed up, we're all down in the dumps because I think a lot of people expected a performance today after how well Danny Rowe's done in the league, right? And we haven't got that and we've lost the game to the team that's in first place. Is it now a fight for second place, or can we still salvage this season with a good recruitment in January?
We've now got a technical problem, haven't we? Because what players are going to want to come in January that may improve us? Having watched that and having watched previous games 8 weeks, 9 weeks ago, I don't want to criticise Rowe because he has improved it since he's come in. I don't know what he's done, but he's done something. He didn't get the results he got without doing something, but he got it totally wrong today from the get-go. He wasn't reacting to what was happening on the pitch in front of him, in my opinion. And if that's how he is, because he's done it before as well in other games, if that's how he is, then we are even going to struggle to fight for second unless they go out and batter Motherwell and batter them.
Yeah, which right now doesn't look likely. Let's be brutally honest.
Doesn't at the moment, no.
It really doesn't. Connor, obviously now we do the kind of immediate phone-in after the game over on the members channel. And one of the questions that I asked, I think it was Neely actually asked, or if maybe I asked all of them. And we're about to hear from him, but just before we do, how much criticism does Danny Rowe take today?
Well, I mean, look, I watched the phone-in you done with the members at the end of the match day coverage. I think what you said was right about only being able to uh, piss with the utensil that he's got, and that is absolutely the case. You can make some criticisms, of course you can. There's always things you can look at. Again, though, he's got a bench that when he turns to it, there's no real game changer there. You know, he's looking at that bench going, who am I got? I mean, Martin, we had a young lad on the bench today that played yesterday for Alloa. That we've recorded. Now, come on, that is the situation that he's in. So I have sympathy for him there. What I do think though is that he had to recognise what we all recognise. I mean, we spoke about it on Friday night, myself, and Brian and Greg, you know, and it was Shona, to her credit, that brought it up. We mentioned set pieces and how important they were going to be in dictating this game today, that we could have created opportunities in attacking sense for set pieces, and we did. You know, we'll talk about the goal that was disallowed, but that we had to defend them because, and I highlighted in particular Stuart Findlay and Craig Halkett. Now, Halkett, as it turns out, didn't play. Stuart Findlay did. And what did he do, Martin? He scored. Because again, we're not picking it up and we're not reading and understanding that's your danger men. That's your men to make sure you've got the right people on. Those are aspects of the game where he has to try and identify that before it and be giving, you know, potentially putting better players marking them. But other than that, you know, despite what I said at the start, that it is another big game he's lost. And that wasn't me having a dig at him. It's just a fact, Martin. It's just factual. It is another big game he's lost. He needs January to come, and we all do, as soon as possible, because right now he's in a run of games that are going to be so difficult. And if he's going to pick up points from them, he's going to need a minor miracle, quite frankly, with this squad.
Well, listen, 100%, 100%. You can maybe pick out, did he start the game correctly, formation, player wise? Did the changes he made, did they make any difference? Could they have made any difference, or is it simply just down to the piss poor squad that Thelwell and Martin got together at the start of the season? That we don't know, because I mean, we just don't know. But let tell you what, let's hear from the manager first, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, not happy, disappointed about the result. I think until the first conceded goal, we were fantastic in the game. We scored after a set play, then it was offside. I think the story was there. You felt in the stadium after our goal. It was right. And then you conceded too quick, 2 goals against a team that are very strong in set play. It should be not like this. I think the first corner or this corner goal, we have a ball losing situation in a unnecessary moment. If you play in behind and you go and then in the counter pressing, they have the problems, and we play in this moment in our own half, lose the ball, then they make a good corner, and then you conceded very quick the second one. Yeah, and then it's tough to come back here. I saw from my team, they tried 95 minutes to come back, but then, of course, they're waiting then for counter-attacks, they're playing quick, and it was then tough. Yeah, at the end, it's 2-1. I think, for me, the opponent is a good team. They're playing well. Big respect for the work they are doing here, but I had the feeling there was much, much more in, and especially how we start the game, everything works what we want.
When you're 2-0 down at half time, you make the change and then try to make other changes. Did you get enough of an impact today?
Yeah, you try. I think the game changed a little bit. Yeah, I think you have then to play against the deeper block. Then you need different solutions. We were then not calm enough in some moments. We lose the ball, but I think this is never easy to play against such a deeper block, against a team who are waiting for transition moments. Then you are waiting for this one goal, because then you can come back, but it's a lot of if. At the end, it's 2-1 for them, and they took the 3 points.
What do you learn about your team in defeat today?
Yeah, at first it's about how we react now after a defeat. It's not about blame each other. It's about find the right solutions and the right questions, and then we have to improve. I think that was, for me, since I'm here, the best team we played. And this is where we want to go. And I think I said this many times. It's about steps, and there will be also some steps more sidewards than forwards. And today it was maybe more sidewards than forwards. And this is what we have to improve as a group. We have to come in such a game to 100% as a group, but also individual to 100%. Then we have, of course, a chance to win such a games in the future.
You've had an improvement in results in terms of domestically. Do you feel maybe there's limitations in this squad and you have to get to January now? There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, these are key moments in football. Yeah, I come back to the 1-0. Yeah, we conceded the goal, and then in this moment, you give them a little bit a push. Then you conceded the second, and then it's really tough. But I saw a group who was really competitive and had also some good moments. But then, if you come back 2-0 down here, then it's tough. And this is what we have to improve, that we come not in such a situation that we lead, it was on, and then it's a different game.
Is there only so much you can do before, you have to try and look at mixing it up a bit come January?
I always start by myself. If I made the right choices, if I make the setup, but the two conceded goals was today never about a shape or formation or something like this. It was about two key moments by Z play, and they did well. And then you are on backwards, and then it's tough to come back.
So basically, he's no going to throw the players under the bus. Connor, 2 games to go until the January transfer window. I think that's the way that I'm looking at that post-match reaction from the manager. Fantastic is a bit of an overstep for me, but again, look, I'm going to give him as much benefit of the doubt as I possibly can. Language barrier, etc. But we weren't fantastic. We were okay. We created a couple of chances. We got a goal that was offside. But he's not going to throw his players under the bus.
Well, I mean, look, fantastic is it's a word.
Which in German, by the way, is fantastisch. Just for you.
Yes, well, we were another word today that does have ish in it, but it's not fantastic-ish. I can tell you that. For me, you can't look at the stats of that game and say that we were fantastic. We could have been 4-0 down in that game. We should have been. Lawrence Shankland should, as I said earlier, should have absolutely killed it, put it all to bed. Not just that, there were other moments in the game as well, of course, that you have to look at. Grazidas has a chance earlier on in the first half. Braga gets in a few times. Again, we are weak defensively. I think the one at Shankland's first one that he puts wide, I don't think he can believe the time and space that he's been given in the box when Devlin just seems to walk past their defenders without a challenge and cuts it back. And he missed that because he genuinely couldn't believe it. And he just went, this is so easy. I'll just tap this in. So this is the problem. So fantastic is just absolutely nowhere near what I would describe that as. Multiple man saying Fernandes should have had a hat trick. I mean, should he? There was some chances. He got ahead on it for the corner. I'm not sure if Miovski needs to touch it.
I think he does.
Well, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. As I say, I'm looking forward to Andrew explaining Rule 11 to us because I don't know.
We're getting there, believe me.
No, but I just think when you look, you can see all those things. And certainly there was an incident later on when he goes up for a header at the back post and Miovski gets in his way and you can see him remonstrating with Miovski. He's absolutely fuming with him because he's obviously gone, get out the way. What are you doing? He's clearly made the shout and Miovski's just ignored it. So
you sure that's what he said?
Well, I don't know exactly what he said. Yes, I think it was probably a bit stronger. Yes. We're public these days, you see, Andrew. You've got
Yes, I know. That's why I said.
But no, were we fantastic? No. However, I agree with your sentiment.
Up until the disallowed goal, we need to put that in there. But he said we were fantastic up until the disallowed goal.
Yeah, we were okay up until the disallowed goal. Yeah, I would grant that we played. I said to you in the first half, I don't think we deserve to be 2-0 down. I think that I would agree with. I think if you assess the game, second half we were far worse than the first half. The first 20 minutes we done all right. We conceded and then it just we collapsed for a while. That being said, though, again you're right. You can't just throw the players under the bus. at the end of the day, he knows, we know, players aren't good enough. That will hopefully change in January. Until then, he's got a couple of games he's going to have to deal with these players. And if you just chuck them under the bus, you're not going to get anything for them.
Well, the Sky commentator, Andrew, was trying to get out of him, basically. Can you just please say that your players are crap and that you need to bring in loads and loads of replacements in January? And he's not going to fall for that. He might only be 36, but he's an experienced guy when it comes to doing these pressers and stuff. And like I said to Connor, he can't throw his players under the bus, but I think you could see it at the side of the pitch how angry he was.
Yeah, you could. I mean, and obviously, as you say, he's not going to throw them under the bus because he wants to sell some of them. You know, I mean, that would be. I mean, if I was doing that in my business and told my customers that my stock's crap, buy it, what would they say to me? You know what I mean? It's the same principle. You know, but the thing is you know, to use the German, we're not Übermenschlich and we're not Meister, and we need to get used to that. It's as simple as that now. And he's obviously not going to say that. But in the same breath, people are saying, you know, give him a chance. Let him get players in January. Yeah, hear that. I admire what he's done. But he's a professional coach, the same as they're supposed to be professional footballers, capable of doing something. And that's the second or third game like that I've seen him not change things when he could have done. I'm not saying that he had the players there to do what he probably wanted to do, but he could have reacted quicker to what was going on in front of him. Because that, is it Kira, what's his name? The Hearts player. I'm no good with names. Kira Bias or whatever his name is. He had a shot early on and Fernandes stood there and watched it, and luckily it went past the post. That was the first warning, and then we started dropping deep. A coach then should be at the side of the pitch telling them, move up as a unit, and step out. You know, it's just
I do think though, Andrew, and Great Wall of Canada saying, when can we have a conversation about rule if not today? Can have a conversation about rule any day of the week. My point, Andrew, would be though that up until today, he's had 6 wins and 2 draws in the league up until today. So he's definitely made improvements when he's come in. And I genuinely think it's as simple as we need better players.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, he actually said it there, Andrew, during that post match. You know, you try to change it, you try to bring players on, you try to move about formations, effectively saying, look what I've got at my disposal.
Yeah, 100%. But in the same breath, you know, he knows what he's got at his disposal. So I'm sorry, but he can't use that as an excuse. He knew what the game was, the same as he knew what the Celtic game was. And he should have been reacting to each every game individually, especially the bigger games. I get the impression that he doesn't, just my opinion at the moment. He's shown that in Europe to me as well. But yeah, he's had the 6 wins, he's had 2 draws, better than Martin did. But I can tell you that I'll probably get burned to death here for this. But if he brings in players in January that are going to improve us and we don't improve, he's gone in the summer.
Well, that's a big statement. I don't know about that. I mean, you might be right.
And your mate will be in the door.
Well, we do have a comment. I don't know where it is now.
With his slippers on, no doubt. Hey, Connor.
Robinson.
A new contract and a pair of B&M slippers for Mr. Robinson.
I love him. I love Stephen Robinson. So any praise that he gets, I'm going to fly with.
I said, Andrew, I have now seen those slippers in real life, in person. I was in Martin's house last Sunday before the women's game, and I swear I touched the slippers once, and I thought he was about to sweet chin music me. These slippers are not to be trifled with.
Listen, just for what my opinion's worth, I think Danny Rowe will improve this team. I think once he gets better players in, he will improve it. I don't think there would have been many other managers who would have come into Rangers and got the results in the league that Danny Rowe got, to be brutally honest.
You're right. I mean, Jackson Bow there in the comments is saying insanity, Andrew. I'm not saying it because I want him changed. I'm saying it from the perspective of what Kavanagh and Parathi are. That's what I'm saying. They're not going to keep 10s, 15s, 20 million pounds in and not getting anything back consistently for it. That's what I'm saying.
100%. And I know that we're all angry and we're all annoyed in the comments, but everybody's got an opinion. So we're all allowed an opinion, even if we're wrong, which I usually am, to be honest.
Same as that.
Usually
Same
wrong.
as that.
But right, Andrew, before I go to Connor, then let's talk about the disallowed goal and why you don't think it's offside.
It clearly states in Law 11, because there's no rules in football, Connor, they're all laws. Just thought I'd let you know that, just to educate you, mate. I'm only kidding, mate, I'm only kidding. Now, Law 11 clearly states that unless there's a clear infringement of the line by the striking player, then the benefit goes with the striking player. You look at that line again, and they have to move the line for Miovski to be offside based on the Hearts right foot, the Hearts player's right foot, which kept him onside. And now that sounds daft, but pretty much a right toe of the boot kept him onside. Because when Ferdinand's headed that ball, Miovski was behind the Hearts player by a fraction. So it comes from the touch by the supplying player to the player who finishes the move. It's not based on when the player who finishes the move getting the ball, it's when the ball was played to him. And it was played to him and he was clearly onside.
What I will say is, Connor, from the images that I've seen, and let's face it, the VAR up here isn't great. And by the way, it's Fernandez, Andrew. Not
I did say Fernandez, it's my accent, because you keep telling me I'm a posh boy.
Yes, well, yeah. If only we had a prime Rio Ferdinand in this team.
That's a sponsorship dropping, Connor. Going down
But Connor, the images that I've seen, and again, I think it's difficult to go on the images, and you would like to think that the guys controlling the VAR have got better images than what we've seen, although
Really?
it's Scottish football, so I'd probably doubt it.
Really?
To me, he looks onside, Connor.
I mean, it is very, very tight. I think my instinct when I seen it at first was that he was just off, and then I seen it back, and it's that toe. I think it's Finlay, where you think, oh, that's, where's that line? And I'm looking, going, that line is going to run for his toe to wherever Miovski's shoulder is, because the furthest part of his body forward is his shoulder. It's just a slight lean. So, I mean, look, I just think with that type of one, I mean, I'm a great proponent of the fact that I think the offside rule needs a little bit of change anyway. I think we need to.
Well, was it not supposed to be changing? Was it not supposed to be that it was you could be ahead of the player as much as you want, as long as a part of your body was behind them? That was meant to be.
That was a part of an argument. I mean, look, I subscribe to the daylight rule. For me, I think what Arsene Wenger's proposals are about right. I think when you're offside by the finest of margins like that, have you gained an advantage by being a toenail in front? Probably not. That being said, though, let's not kid ourselves on here. Using the other foot, and that's at the other end, and the goal's given, we're all sitting here saying, is he offside? So,
Oh, yeah, and the only reason that we're discussing it is because, as much as we are, is because we get beat.
Yeah, of course. If you're in the game, it becomes an irrelevance. And again, I wondered, did Miovski need to touch it? Could he have left it? I'm being told he had to because it was potentially going wide. Fair enough. It's unlucky. It's desperately, desperately unlucky. And I think if that goal stands, it changes the landscape of the game, because then you're in front after a period where you've played quite well, and then it's, can you go and capitalise on that? Can you go and do what needs to be done to get the points as Martin disappears? I think the slipper.
Yeah, but what you got to remember, Connor, it's from when Fernandez hits the ball, when he first connects with the ball. That's where the law applies, not when it arrives with Miovski. When it leaves Fernandez, that's when the law applies.
Yeah,
and Miovski was onside at that point.
Again,
is it an absolute disgrace of a decision, Martin? No.
I don't think so, no.
It's a fine margins decision, and sometimes the fine margins go for you and they go against you. In this occasion, it's went against us. Let's be honest, in the last couple of weeks, we've had some luck when it comes to VAR. You know, Livingston, Stonewall penalty kick, not given. There was another handball after that, and they delighted in telling us all about it on Sky Sports before the game. They made sure to get that in there. So I think we just have to take that one on the chin. We can be disappointed by it, but
we can't change it, can we?
No, we can't. And let's be honest, Connor, I'll come straight back to you on this corner, right? Because you are right. It was 0-0 at the time, right? So it's a disallowed goal. What then happened after that, Connor, was we just fell apart. Absolutely fell apart. And I asked Ash to do it on the halftime show, and I'm going to ask you to do it now for me, Connor. Can you please explain Hearts' first goal?
Careful, Connor, it's public.
Yeah. But look, I said it earlier. Shocking naivety from us when it comes to defending your lines. Now, it does start from Jack Butland initially because it's his initial
100%.
They kick it out that loses possession and then builds pressure onto us and allows Hearts the opportunity to then get a set piece that they can put in. Now, how Stuart Findlay can be left unmarked and get a free header is beyond me. I mean, that's an early Christmas gift for him. Again, though, it comes down to who's marking him. You know,
It was a good header,
This is where I think-
by the way. We need to say that.
a very good header, but he is one of their best headers of the ball. If we can sit here on a podcast on Friday night, Martin, and identify Stuart Findlay, that's one of the guys you want to make sure you watch the set pieces because he's going to be in there. He'll get a head on the ball if we don't get it right. If we can recognise that, how can the players on the pitch not understand that? For me, get Fernandes, get one of your bigger guys, Sterling, whoever, to be properly marking him and trying to outmuscle him a bit, make it uncomfortable. Don't let him get an easy header. We don't do that. We give them an absolute freebie. And Guybrush is not wrong either, a free 2v1. This is, again, symptomatic. This game was always going to come down to set pieces. It was always going to be, can we defend set pieces and can we take advantage of Hearts' potential defensive weaknesses? Because as good as Findlay and that are in there going forward, they're similar to us defending set pieces. It's a wee bit scrappy sometimes. You can get wee moments and wee breaks of the ball, and we did. But unfortunately, again, it's poor defending. Again, Butland has a hand in it. Like it or lump it, Jack Butland has a hand in it. So that's another thing to be looking at. What's the distribution all about? Just random punts at the park's not working. So, again, shooting herself in the foot. Too easy. Far, far too easy.
I'm not being funny, Andrew, right? But and again, I haven't seen any of the Aberdeen Celtic game, right?
Nor have
As far as I was aware, it was 1-0 to Celtic, and Aberdeen were down to 10 men, and now Aberdeen have just scored at Parkhead. Aberdeen never do anything against Celtic, right? We've just thrown away. Not thrown away. Hearts are a good team. That's really harsh, right? But we had an opportunity today, Andrew, to really put a marker down in this league. And if Celtic might go on and win the game, I don't know. But if Celtic drop points again today, or they just scrape against 10 men, how have we managed to throw this away so badly, Andrew?
Connor just covered it pretty much. That first goal, it started with Butland's kick out, which was absolutely shocking for a keeper, by the way. I mean, my oldest son was my goalkeeper, and he played for the county. And the one that, not because he's my son, because I used to fall out with him big time. But he wouldn't
have made nepotism. My name is Andrew, Martin?
Oh, yeah, Jesus. But he wouldn't have made those mistakes. He just wouldn't have. But it wasn't just the kick out. He didn't own his box when the play came in for Findlay to score. He didn't own the box. He didn't own his defenders. Any keeper worth his salt would have been screaming, step two, and get them up to give them a bit of distance. But now he stood on his line, and if you watch that ball go in, he did exactly, I think it was Ferric Varo's game, he did exactly as he did there. He stood start still and wasn't even in the right position for it.
Yeah, I have just been reminded, by the way, which shows you how much attention I pay to our neighbours. I have just been reminded that Aberdeen beat them in the Scottish Cup final last season. So sometimes Aberdeen do get a result against Celtic, I suppose.
Aberdeen beat them in the Scottish Cup final last season on penalties. Martin, this is an Aberdeen side who have travelled to Parkhead today, and for reasons known only to them, have decided that they're going to play the game in the only fashion that's going to help Celtic, which is park the bus and let Celtic come on and pressure. Celtic
it's not helping them because it's one each. But anyway, because
they've obviously changed it up to 10 men. Anyway, who cares?
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to Rangers, but you keep talking about them. Andrew, the second goal, Andrew. You talk about defending, mate. It's a couple of headers, right, which puts Shankland in behind. The second one, Tavernier doesn't even make a go at trying to win that header, which was always, I was always thinking to myself, we're going to play Tav at centre back. He's not a centre back. He's not got any pace, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it makes its way to Shankland. And one of those areas where, I can't, you know that way, you're always biased towards your own players, right? You're always biased towards your own players. And when they make mistakes, your immediate reaction in your brain is to go, right, how can I soften that mistake? What can I possibly say to make that mistake not seem as bad as it is? And do you know what immediately came into my head? He's not expecting Shankland to shoot for there, right? But actually, that makes it worse because then he's not fully concentrating. I do not know. And it's not just on Butland, this goal, right? The majority of it is. But the defending leading up to the second goal, Andrew, is piss poor. But what is Jack Butland doing?
Well, as you say, it started in front of him. And to be honest with you, that was pure schoolboy stuff. Absolute pure schoolboy stuff. You know what I mean? I've seen school teams at under 14 clear that better than we did. But what Butland was thinking again, you know, it feels like I'm picking on Butland tonight, but he's been suspect for a few weeks off and on now, not commanding his area, not taking responsibility for his area, in my opinion. And he did it again with that Shankland goal. It was as if he thought, well, he's not going to shoot for there. You know, we'll be all right. I don't have to shout at nobody. But what was he doing when he did shoot? He created the gap. He didn't close the gap between the near post and his legs. Now, a keeper, as you guys will know, a keeper should go down, hands down, knee behind his hands and close the space. You know, and then pick the ball up and carry on. But he didn't do any of that.
No.
And then if you watch him when he gets up, he's looking at the four in front of him as if to say, well, what were you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't expect Shankland to shoot from there. But Shankland's full of confidence at the minute. So he's obviously looked up. He's thought to himself, well, you know, it's a bit narrow, but, you know, I might get a rebound out of this. And somebody will brag or whatever will come in behind and stick it in the net. So I'm going to have a pop. And Butland should have been ready for that. But he didn't even have his defenders set. He's got no command of his area or his own positioning at the moment, in my humble opinion, for what it's worth. And he cost us today, Butland. As many of others did as well, not just him.
Yeah, we'll come on to them in a minute. Yeah, but you're right. You're right.
He cost us today.
You're 100% right.
Kelly deserves his chance now.
Well, I'm going to come on to that in a wee second. But Connor, you always defend goalkeepers, even when you're completely wrong, right? You defend goalkeepers. And you were the first person in the group chat to say...
Connor's never wrong.
Connor is always wrong. But you were the first person, Connor, in that group chat to say, I can't defend that. That's shocking.
No, it is shocking goalkeeping. You know, absolutely shocking. As mentioned earlier, he can't create that gap at your near post. He's just got to be a step across, one more step to his left across, and then he can just stick his boot out and he sends it out for a corner and you reset the play. You cannot, as a goalkeeper, get beat there. You simply can't. That is as schoolboy keeping as it gets. That you don't concede a goal for there. You know, professional goalkeepers cannot. But what I would say, and you look at the build-up,
here we go.
Because that's the part I haven't yet had a mention on. The ball comes. I think it's a free kick. The long diagonal ball. It comes to just inside Hearts half. It's pinged across. Devlin beats Fernandez to a header that Fernandez doesn't jump for and try and compete for. Then Braga beats James Tavernier and Dujon Sterling to a header that neither of them jump and compete for. Then when it goes to Shankland, Dujon Sterling can't track him back quick enough because he's already been out doing nothing because he didn't jump for the header, and bang, Shankland scores. So there's your four players right there who've got to do better. Fernandez, Tavernier, Sterling, Butland, all of them doing nothing. You don't win the first header, you don't win the second header, and then nobody's there at the back post to Shankland. It is ridiculous. It's unforgivable not to compete for that. And none of this mitigates what Jack Butland's mistake was, because at the end of the day, despite all of that, Jack Butland should have kept the ball out, reset it. And do you know what? If he had kept the ball out and then turned out and read the riot act to his defenders, 100% I'd have been fully behind him on that. And I think we all would have, because we'd have all been seeing what the hell are those defenders doing? How can you not be challenging for balls? That's what should have happened there. Unfortunately, Butland's dreadful goalkeeping was the cherry on top of a very, very poor defensive cake that we served up in that situation. And yeah, it's too weak, too easy. And, you know, it's unfortunate because he makes a save later in the game for Shankland that, okay, probably would still expect him to make, but
It's a good save.
It's a harder save to make than the one that he fluffs, quite frankly. So yeah, I mean, poor all round.
Yeah, poor all round. And then second half, Andrew, Hearts just went, right, we'll just sit back because we know that this Rangers team are quite powder puff going forward. We don't need to leave spaces anymore at the back. We had most of the ball in the second half. Hearts still created some chances through every time we got a corner, as David Digger put on Twitter. Every time we got a corner, it was a counter attack for Hearts. Every time we went forward, it was a counter attack for Hearts. But we offered very little in that second half. The substitutions didn't really make much of an impact. Chermiti gets a goal late on, which is actually a decent goal for Chermiti using his strength.
It's only cost £4 million. We shouldn't get excited.
And it's a nice finish, but it means absolutely nothing. Second half, Andrew, we were powder puff.
You know, I mean, to be honest, the only redeeming thing for Butland was he stopped that possible third goal by Shankland. End of.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing Butland did all day for me. But yeah, Hearts, I would imagine, you know, and again, I always refer like this because I have to. I'm not a professional coach. I've got my license, the same as Kenny, but I'm not up there at that level. You'd be saying to your players, even at our level, at 2-0, right, go out, absorb a wee bit. Let's just ease and keep the ball and make them come for it because they've got nothing to offer us. They've offered us nothing after they got the goal chopped off. They've fallen apart after the goal got chopped off. All we've got to do is individual battles, win the war, and we're away with 3 points. And I presume that's what McInnes has told his players, because for 20 minutes, that's exactly what Hearts did. And then they livened up a little bit, and as you say, they could have popped in two to make it 4-0, or was it Connor that said it? It could have been 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
You know, potentially 5. I mean, I've written here, and because I was that frustrated, that, you know, the midfield intensified the defensive pressure, and we haven't got the players that can cope with that, a two-edged bit, you know, doing their own job and then being pressurised. And I put, this squad is not good enough, brave enough, aggressive enough. They're bereft of the ability that pros at that level should have and be able to carry through a game and apply it time after time. And the manager should be telling them this or working on that, because I don't know what it was today. They just seemed to be, all right, we're struggling, as Connor correctly pointed out, with the bench. But there was nothing there for me. Now, Hearts are a good side, as you said. So, you know, I'm not going to take it away from Hearts. They won the game fair and square, and they played well to win it.
They're just a better team than us, Andrew.
Yeah, they are, yeah. And McInnes has got them all playing for each other. He really has got them all playing for each other. Even down to who you may consider their poorest player puts a shift in when he gets minutes. Mm-hmm. And we haven't got that. I
mean, Connor, you've seen that actually in the second half. I'm saying that we had all the possession and stuff, and even parts of the first half. Yeah, we had more possession, but every single time that ball went into our midfield, there was 4 Hearts players chasing it. And we couldn't even exploit that to our advantage. But the
scary thing about it, Martin,
closing us down constantly.
The scary thing about it is that wasn't even their full strength squad. They were missing some important players today. You know, they're missing Kabori, one of their better players. They're missing Beningame. They're missing Craig Halkett, who's been Mr. Reliable for them at the back. Frankie Kent, who
he played
basically just gifted us a sympathy goal at the end.
Yeah.
You know, he must have had Chermiti on his accumulator to get a goal, so he thought, right, okay, on you go, big man. You know, apart from that, he's made the mistake there, but you know, he wouldn't have been a starter anyway for Hearts or playing the 90 minutes had Halkett been fit. So that's the other side of this. We had an opportunity against not massively, but a slightly weakened Hearts side that we could maybe have tried to exploit that a little bit more. It's a luxury we didn't have at Ibrox. It's a luxury that Celtic didn't have both times when they played them because they were full strength then as well. Mm-hmm. And we just didn't do it. And the passion and the effort that they made, chasing down, hunting down every single ball, getting involved in things and just making life so difficult for us. And, you know, that's the kind of attitude that gets you things. That's the attitude we need to have, because, you know, on paper, you don't have to be the best team in a competition to win it. You don't have to, on paper, be the best team in the world to win it. Look at Leicester in 2015-16.
Connor, I was just going to interrupt you and say,
apart from the best team, and yet as a collective unit, that look at what they've done. That is the mentality that Hearts, as Stuart Allison says, that's the mentality that Hearts have right now. They have no fear of the Old Firm. Why would they? They've beaten both twice. Yeah. And I'm telling you now, right, let's be clear on this, because I get sick fed up of the media pundits. It's high time that we put a bit of respect on Hearts' name, because this nonsense idea that we keep being fed about how, you can't quite say Hearts are in the title contenders yet. You can't say it yet. We'll see when they've beat Rangers twice, they've beat Celtic twice. When exactly can you start saying that they are genuine title contenders this season? Yeah. They are. This isn't Aberdeen for last season. Hearts had their wobble, and they've bounced back superbly from it. That is a mentality issue that we don't have the ability mentally to go and do.
Well, that title is Hearts to throw away now.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
And I don't see them doing that. Not unless they have a calamitous period. I dare say they will drop a few more points, but they will come back like they've done, previously.
They will, but how many points are us and Celtic going to drop along the way?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just to pull out a positive if we can, Andrew. Dujon Sterling got 80 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, again, looked probably one of our better players.
Yeah, I'd say the first 20, he did well. He covered. Again, he made, he saved Tav's arse a couple of times, didn't he? Coming across, taking players on. He's got 80 minutes. That can only do the boys' legs good. He was tiring, you could see that, and that's natural, I would say, for the injuries that he's carried. And if we can game manage him, then, we all know he's a great player for us. But if we can game manage him to the end of the season, then, second is a fightable thing. The title, has it completely gone? I don't think it's completely gone, but it's way, way off in the dim distance now, I believe. And it's going to take, as I said a moment ago, some calamitous error by Hearts to open that up for either us or them to get anywhere near it. So, but with Sterling, I just think that it's indicative of how we played today, that you're saying a player who is yet not fully fit was again our best man on the park.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's nowhere near fully match fit. Fully match fit.
Not at all.
Right, Connor, thoughts on Dujon, and then we'll wrap up.
There's still. He's obviously not fully match fit, I don't think, but he's doing okay in the main. I think again today, I highlighted it. He's part of the fault for the second goal, because he's standing really in no man's land, seemingly marking Tav. None of them jump for a ball. I believe it's 2-1 Alexander Marshall, unless that goal's been ruled out.
No,
it looks like it's being looked at, Connor.
Because here's the thing. Regardless, they've just lost 4 games in a row, and they're going to be 6 points in front of us again. I mean, that's how ridiculous we are.
That's how poor we are.
Well, as Martin said, we had the chance to put that marker down, Connor, and we didn't.
100%. And that's the problem when you don't do that. And listen, that's not, to go back to Sterling, that's obviously not on him.
Yeah.
He looked all right to come on. Ciara got more minutes, which is a positive you can take from the game. And of course, Chermiti scores his second goal in a Rangers jersey, which is the most irrelevant goal that he'll ever score in his career, because so irrelevant was it, there was zero reaction from anybody in the stadium, because it was literally the last kick of the ball.
There's a comment there just come in, Connor, from 1320 Alibaba about Raskin. Punt him in January if possible.
Listen, we're going to speak about Raskin, and we're going to speak about. We've got the morning phone in tomorrow, and then we're back at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and then we've got the 7 o'clock members, 7:30 members show, and the women's show's in there at 6:30 as well. But we've got the 7:30 members show. We need to have a conversation about Raskin. I just don't think, Connor, right now is the time.
No, a conversation does need to be had about him pretty soon. Whether that's now, probably not. I think as well that
because it isn't just him.
It's not just him. No, and
the best bit of business he's done, Martin, is invoking his extension of his contract this year. That's the best thing he's done for Rangers this season.
Yeah,
or for him, should I say, for him, not Rangers. And I don't think we can get out of that, can we? Because that's part.
No. But it's a like I say, but I'm
Anyway, it's a
in
conversation.
I'm in a bit, Connor, where I don't want to speak about Nico Raskin because I've done well to keep my cool about certain players. But Connor, yeah, final word to you, mate. On you go.
Well, he took the captain's armband today, which was surprising because the last couple of times Jack Butland said it when Tav's been off the park. So that's obviously something that's changed. So apparently it's the one.
Could not care less.
The reality is the season as a whole over? No, the league's probably done and dusted, but I think we all felt that before this game anyway. I mean, I said on Friday that the only way I would start considering us to be in a title race is if we managed to get a win today. We didn't do that.
No.
So therefore, we have to accept where we are. They're going to be 6 in front of us, despite losing 4 games in a row. That's just how dreadful we've been. We need to now just keep trying to win games of football and hope they slip up, hope Hearts slip up. But
what kind of pie is it, Linda?
We also have to remember that in terms of the league, it's going to be an uphill battle. You don't give up, it's an uphill battle. There's still a cup competition, though. We can still win silverware this season. We can still get out of Dodge with a Scottish Cup at the end of the season, maybe mount a bit of a challenge for the league. That's about as well as Danny Rule can do at this point. Because what else is he meant to do? He can only play with the hand he's dealt, and right now it's not a very good hand that he's got. I will never, as they say, it's not over till it's over. Not over to the fat lady sings, and Martin isn't singing yet, so there's always a chance.
We'll see. I'm actually getting more raging the longer this reaction is going on about that result today. I don't know why. I'm getting more raging.
Listen, I think we just need to move on, and I say move on. There'll be conversations about it for the next few days, but Motherwell next up is going to be a tough game at Ibrox. We need to make sure we win that and bounce back. Hearts will drop points, Celtic will drop points, but we'll also probably drop more points, so it'll become academic in the end, I feel, unfortunately.
Yeah, anyway, right, folks, we'll leave it there. Like I say, we're back tomorrow. Plenty to talk about tomorrow, plenty to keep going through the week with that performance as well. But before I go, I will say we've got a couple of super chats. One for Paul. Yes, Paul, we were. And I know you're not happy, mate, and I know that you'll be the first to phone in the morning rabble tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. for all members. I know that you'll be the first to phone in, mate. And I'm glad it's a member show because I'm pretty sure the language will not be broadcastable on public YouTube, Paul. Thank you very much for your super chat. And Mark as well, he's back in. Thank you very much, Mark. He's not perfect, but our manager was in a hiding to nothing after the summer recruitment shambles. And that's something that I don't think we can forget, is just how much of a shambles this team was before Danny Rule came in the door. So thank you very much, Mark, for that super chat as well, my friend. Connor, Andrew, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me after yet another disappointing result. And like I say, thanks to all the comments, all the super chats, all the subscribers, all the members, everything. Thank you so much for all the support. Your post-match reactions are back on YouTube, folks, going forward. So, yeah, that will do us for today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Another disappointing day for Rangers, and here's hoping that Danny can get the players rolling again.